What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Between the Numbers Sports Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Daryl. And before we jump into today's episode, I just want to say go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of the latest episodes from me, right? All right, so Happy New Year, right? Hope everyone's safe. Hope everyone had a good holiday, a good Christmas, a good New Year's, all of those good things. Hopefully, you guys have some goals that you want to set, and I hope you guys crush your goals heading into this 2024 year or season, if you want to call it, for all my big time sports heads, right? Yeah, so LSU wins 10 games. We got a fire Matt House, and LSU also gets a big fish. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. So, all right, LSU wins 10 games, right? So I was blessed to go to that game yesterday. I went to Tampa to see LSU take on Wisconsin in the 2024 Walias Crest Bowl, right? In Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, right? And I went to that game, and I got to tell you, um, LSU did everything they possibly could. The defense, led by Matt House, did everything they possibly could to deny the team 10 wins. So, first of all, before I do a recap real fast, congratulations to Malik Neighbors, right? He broke the all-time receiving record for LSU, right? So it was held by Josh Reed. He had 3,001 yards, and Malik Neighbors got 3,003 yards, right? So shout out to Malik Neighbors. That was pretty cool being there in person to see him break the record. Everyone stood up on both sides, on Wisconsin side and definitely on LSU side. Everyone stood up and clapped, and it was just good to see that. Um, Also, shout out to Nussmeier, right? He was the MVP of the bowl, right? He was the MVP of the game, right? That was his first full start. And so, congratulations to him. Now, let's just talk about the offense real fast, and then we're going to get to the defense. So, again, from me being at the game um, in person, what I saw was at first, it just seemed like LSU was trying to get Nussmeier into rhythm, right? So they was giving him a lot of short throws, a lot of easy throws, getting the ball out of his hand really fast. Um, and it was kind of frustrating at first because a lot of the plays that LSU was running, uh, when it was time, like when it was like a third and medium situation or a third and long situation, they was calling a lot of plays that was um beneath the sticks, right? So if they had to get like 10 yards, well, it's 10 yards to get a first down, but they had to get like 6 yards for a first down. It was running a lot of routes that was just underneath those 6 yards, right? So maybe they was running yards to 4 to 6 yards, right? And it was just not getting any conversions on third down at first, right? So they was coming in and off the field really fast. So it was really frustrating being in the stands. Um, some of the fans are standing up asking, are you doing? People was getting frustrated. But you can tell at first that I think the absence of Mike Denbrock at first uh, was felt, right? Nussmeier was definitely getting the ball out decently fast, but he had to speed it up. He had to get it out a lot faster. Wisconsin was playing a lot of, one man, right? So they had one safety over the top, uh, and they was playing a combo coverage underneath. So, um, you know, I was like, man, we got Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., and Lacey. Why isn't LSU throwing the ball down the field? They started throwing the ball down the field, and then you see the results, right? LSU was able to pull it off. But moving on to the defense, right? The defense gave up 14 like this, boom, boom, right? Missed tackles, blown coverages, no pressure up front. LSU has to fire Matt House. Now LSU had what almost a month to prepare for this game, right? Maybe give or take a little bit less, maybe a little bit less than a month. How the hell you come out after practicing for a month, right? Versus Wisconsin, a 7-5 team, now a 7-6 team, right? Who quarterback hadn't thrown for more than the team hadn't had more than 11 passing touchdowns all season, and you let that kid come out there and look like a goddamn first round draft pick quarterback, right? Everybody got their rocks off on LSU this season, right? It don't matter who it was, everybody did. LSU tried. The defense tried its hardest to give the game to Wisconsin, right? They just didn't look as soon as the game started, they didn't LSU's defense didn't look very inspiring at all. It's like they was just there. It's like they was just trying to hurry up and get the bowl game over with, and so they can get on, with their little break before they roll back into spring ball, right? It just seems like the defense is really sluggish. You know, Mason Smith had one sack, but other than that, I don't know what the hell Mason Smith does. Um, I was happy that we got Wingo back, right? He showed up really big in the second half. Harold Perkins had a touchdown running the ball, but that was pretty much it. Um, you know, he wasn't rushing the passer very much. Um, well, we saw what happened. We saw how they threw the slant right in the middle of the linebackers, and two linebackers missed the tackle, and it, Wisconsin was able to score. Wisconsin was able to score running the ball, throwing it across the middle, and throwing it deep. Right, LSU had no answers for it. LSU got a stop in the fourth quarter to be able to ice the game, quote unquote. But um, hell, that was probably just all luck, right? Now there is some a little bit of controversy going on the internet, right? So if you go on X, formerly known as Twitter, or maybe you can Google it, there's a video floating around where Matt House is on the field congratulating his guys, and he goes up to Wingo, number 18 Wingo, and he tells Wingo something, and Wingo goes, "Man, he pretty much said that he's tired of this shit and he's going to the next level, that he's not coming back." And some fans are saying that he's just frustrated with Matt House and Matt House system and the play of the defense, right? And so I encourage you guys to go look at the video because I am giving you a summary. I looked at the video and you can definitely hear him say that. He doesn't say he's tired of Matt House, but he just says he's gone to the next level. He's had enough of this shit. He's not dealing with it. So if you got a Twitter account, go on Twitter. If you don't, you probably just can Google it. Just Google LSU defensive player Matt House, and you're gonna see number 18, Wingo, and you can hear it out of his mouth loud and clear, right? Now, if he is going to the pros, right, which he did, he announced on Twitter that he's going to the pros. He's gonna for his senior season. If he's doing that because he's sick of Matt House, and LSU is gonna keep Matt House, that's a bad omen, right? That's just a bad sign because Trey Wingo is an All American, and if you are gonna be, um, if you got a guy like that that says, "Hell, man, I'm getting out of here. Like, I'm not even gonna come back for my senior year and battle with my brothers because he's sick of Matt House," then what is everyone else on that defense thinking? Some of the more valuable components of that defense. I think if LSU was evaluating who was going to be the next offensive coordinator, if they was going to be hiring someone from within, and if Coach Kelly was evaluating all of his assistants, I think you have to strongly consider letting Matt House go. Um, Now, on the message boards and on social media, some LSU fans are saying, you know what, we're okay with keeping Matt House because we got some pretty good recruits coming in on the defensive side of the ball um, this next season. I say hell no. I say don't double down. I understand being loyal, but I say let his ass walk and go get somebody else. Now I look at it as like it's 50-50, right? It's 50-50. He's the defensive coordinator. He has his defensive assistants, but it's also the players too, right? So LSU has to find some guys at cornerback. We got to find some guys at linebacker, and we got to find more dogs on the defensive line, right? Mason Smith isn't it. Uh, I don't think Mason Smith should go to the pros. I don't think he is. I think he's going to try to come back next year and get better. But uh, hope a lot of these freshmen that's coming in are going to be playing. You just gonna have Brian Kelly is just going to have to flat out allow some of these freshmen to play. Now, um, the good thing is, right? LSU got a big fish. LSU was able to bring in Dominique McKinley from Acadiana, right? The kid's like 6'8", 260 pounds, right? Let me see how big is this kid? He he's definitely over 6'4". But he was committed to Texas A&M, and he flipped. He was a number one rated player coming out of the state of Louisiana, and he flipped. He flipped from A&M to LSU, and the kid's gonna have to play early. They're gonna have to get him. They're gonna have to get him. Um, they're gonna have to try to put as much size on him as possible in the next couple of months in the off season, and the kid's gonna have to play early because uh, losing Wingo to the pros is gonna hurt, and they're gonna have to play a lot of these underclassmen. They're gonna have to play a lot of these freshmen guys that's coming in off the field, and they're just gonna have to learn on the fire, kind of like the same way that Will Campbell and um I always forget the other kid's name, but the two tackles, right? They're gonna have to. They're just gonna have to learn early, right? They're gonna have to learn on the fire. They're gonna have to learn, get the experience early. They don't have time to sit back and wait because you know, watching that game yesterday on the defensive side of the ball, I don't know who you turn to. I don't know who you turn to at all. I really don't. LSU's gonna have to try to figure it out. I know Brian Kelly's not looking to go into the transfer portal and get anyone, but you're gonna have to turn to these guys that's coming in, these freshmen, and say, "Hey, man, go out there and give it your best shot." Because um, I really don't know, man. I don't really know unless it's gonna take one more off season for some of these guys like uh, uh, Major Burns and some of these other guys, these other safeties and cornerbacks and linebackers to really turn it on, right? I guess it's going to take 3 years or 4 years for them to really to that light to flick on in their head and say, "Oh, this is how you play defense." And of course, firing Matt House, right? Firing Matt House and getting someone else in here to call and structure this defense because they was trying their hardest yesterday, to uh, get a game to Wisconsin, right? Um, Now, for the offensive coordinator situation, right? Yesterday, uh, the quarterbacks coach and the passing game coordinator, they were um, there was there was co offensive coordinators, right? So it was kind of like sharing um, the the position, right? And starting off, like I said, LSU's offense wasn't really in rhythm, wasn't hitting on all strides. So they have to see how that works. I don't know if Brian Kelly's going to get a new offensive coordinator or whether or not he's just going to allow one of those guys to move up to be the offensive coordinator and give them a season and see how it goes. But we'll have to see. The positive thing is Nussmeier is going to get all of the first team snaps heading into the spring and next season, right? He's going to be able to get on the same page with these wide receivers, with his offensive lineman and really take charge of that offense. And hopefully, um, he leads LSU to victory versus USC in Las Vegas in 2024 later this year. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, LSU wins the Rely Quest Bowl versus Wisconsin. They get 10 wins for the second time under Brian Kelly. The program is definitely trending up. Brian Kelly's going to have to grow a pair of balls and fire Matt House. I know he loves Matt House. That's his buddy. Matt House, he wants to be loyal, but hey, man, Kelly, you're going to have to grow a pair of balls and fire Matt House because I'm telling you right now, the LSU fan base is not happy. It was just funny hearing people in the stands, right? Saying fire Matt House, X and was screaming, "What the fuck are you doing?" Stuff like that, right? And like, I had two margaritas and I had double shots of tequila and I was feeling pretty good. And there was some people next to me, some LSU fans, and they was drinking too, and they was fireman house, what the fuck are you doing? Talking shit, and it was fun. But you know, when Wisconsin jumped out on us 14-0, there was a lot of angry LSU fans. I had to get up and walk away. I got up out of my seat and went to the concession stand and went got a bottle of water because I was that pissed off or whatever. I was just like, I know damn well I didn't travel. I didn't drive 5.5 hours from South Carolina down here to Tampa, get an Airbnb, get my tickets and all that stuff, and to watch LSU lose a bowl game. So I'm happy LSU was able to pull it out. Hell of a drive to go 98 yards to take the victory by Nussmeiers. And finally, the defense decided that they wanted to fucking show up and get a stop to ice the game. So fire Matt House, man. Fire Matt House. Hey, Brian Kelly, fire Matt House. Congratulations to Nussmeier. Congratulations to Malik Neighbors. Congratulations to Frank Wilson and that recruiting staff being able to flip Dominique McKinley. Um, Stud, number one rated defensive player, number one rated player in the state of Louisiana, flipped him from Texas A&M. Big things, big things, big things. LSU's heading into the off season, and so we got to see some of the developments and some of the things that's going to come out of this program heading into the 2024 season. All right, so I'm gonna shut my mouth. That was the recap. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Hey, it's January 2nd, 2024, and unfortunately, I did not hit my 300 subscriber mark. So turn your boy up, man. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, like. Don't forget that hit that. Don't forget to hit that bell notification because when you hit that bell notification, every time I drop, you're gonna be up to date on what's going on. So I appreciate everyone. And again, hope you have a happy and prosperous 2024. I'm out.